I feel like this is such an interesting question. I bet you could poll 100 speech pathologists and get a really wide range of answers based on the perspective of each clinician. And then similarly, I feel like different families have different value sets around the use of external rewards or reinforcements or bribes. It feels like a little bit of a dirty word.
I, in my opinion, don't agree with bribery. I believe in motivation. And so I think that can be doing something fun together, participating in an activity that they really enjoy. But dangling that carrot at the end, so maybe, I don't know, saying when we're done with this session, you're going to get a lollipop or you're going to get this, your favorite candy. I think that we need to remember that we're not just building a skill for that day and we're not just hoping that they do the work that day, but that we want to see change over time and that we're looking at a challenge that is going to be there for a long time. And so building up that intrinsic motivation for kids, I think, is essential so that doing the hard work will be hard, but it will be beneficial to them. And they need to learn that within themselves. And I think that even really young kids can see that. Even the 2 and 3 year olds, they can see that, wow, I did that. That was really hard, but I had help and support and I was able to get there. And sometimes they forget, and sometimes they might need some motivation, but making it in the form of bribery, like, you do this and then we're going to get that candy or that toy or something that you want, I think is different.
From my professional perspective, if a child isn't wanting to come to therapy, isn't enjoying it, I feel like it's my job to figure out why and how to make it motivating intrinsically to the child. Meaning, how do I get them to feel motivated, invested in their own therapy? So I would not recommend bribing. And if you're noticing your child's resistant to therapy, I would talk with your therapist about that and see if you both can brainstorm ideas to maybe change what's happening to make the child want to or be more willing to participate in therapy.
But I'm not above bribes at all. It's hard to just go and do the same thing over and over again. And with a child, they might not feel the intrinsic value of those small changes that are happening. So whether that's a sticker chart for like just a little, like a pencil or a ball or something like that, or just a sticker, any of those things are fine. I've had other kids that have needed like bigger bribes. And so it would be like a bowling night out or something like that, or a trip to the movie theaters and he gets to choose, or even a movie night at home, but he gets to choose and all his siblings have to do the movie that he's chosen because, he's filled up the sticker chart or whatever it is, or accomplished like X, Y, or Z. So if there's something that your child loves, getting their nails done, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be super big, but something special for them. If that's what it takes to get them there and feeling like, okay, I can get out of the car this morning to go do this, then I feel like why worry about the bribe?
The last thing that I came up with that I felt was helpful when I reflected on our journey was, just the use of a reward system, whether that's a sticker chart. I know there was a time my son was finally motivated by stickers on the back of his shirt. He found that to be really fun because he got to run over and let mom guess what it was, and he tried to guess what it was, and he just thought that was so fun. We've also earned toys. We have little Matchbox cars, and let's just say over the year, he has a lot of little Matchbox cars. And that was just, again, he was a child who he needed that motivation. And for him, that was being able to stop at the store and pick out a little Matchbox car.
The bribe or the external reinforcement wouldn't be my go-to. Because I really feel strongly that the therapy itself should be the motivator. And the idea that the child knows that they're going to come and see me and have a good time is the thing that is getting them in the door, rather than getting an ice cream after or whatever it might be. I have plenty of toys and I have plenty of games, but I really feel like it's the play that we do using those things that is the motivator. We get silly, we have fun, we laugh, we're active, and those are the things that are hopefully motivating the child to come and do some hard work. And that's an expectation that I set early in therapy with kids, that when they come to see me, you're going to have a good time, and you're going to do some hard work. And it's my responsibility as the provider to manage that balance on how much work are we doing and how much fun are we having and how much are we kind of balancing those two. And we have good days and we have days that aren't so good. I certainly miss the mark sometimes, and I might push too hard when a child just doesn't have that. But I'm gonna acknowledge that and bring that into the session too, and say something like, "Oh, geez, I looks like I asked for a little too much there. Let's do one or two more, and then we'll get to that whatever it might be that you're preferring to do." And then after we do transition from the work to the more motivating play or game or whatever it might be, I make sure that we have a lot of fun during that transition, and that we kind of recalibrate that balance so that we're ready and able to do a little bit more work. But that's my job. That's my responsibility to try to monitor and calibrate that play work balance. Another element that might be involved in this question is sensing that your child might be having a hard time transitioning into the speech therapy session, whether it's after a long day of school or after a long car ride or whatever it might be. You might be getting a sense that, oh, I need something a little bit extra to get this child into the room. And I just wanted to acknowledge that that transition is tricky. Even when the therapy relationship is strong and motivating, that change is complicated and comes with some complicated feelings. So it's not something that we're necessarily going to squash or extinguish, but we're going to kind of appreciate that that's what's happening. And similarly, an experience I often find myself in is after we've had a good therapy session, like a great session with a lot of hard work. I open my door to my waiting room where mom or dad is sitting, and this child is a puddle. They have used up all of their juices with me, and it's not a reflection that things aren't going well, but actually the opposite. They worked hard with me, and now they don't have so much patience when you tell them to zip up their coat, or they don't have so much patience when you say, yeah, you can use the tablet, but when we get in the car, and we get some behavior as a response to that. It's part of the deal, and not necessarily a sign that something is wrong.